Perhaps now we'll find out.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you on
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay, I will believe what they said. The Old Tube Radio Network, we are here despite my best efforts to wreck everything. The internet stream should be up and running without the wacky extra audio flavor that we don't need. Let me clear the radios. And the Nixies, someone told me that it is the daylight savings change this weekend. And then the Nixie tubes, I guess, are set up. Let me turn them on. But then, anyway, they're set up for. You know what it is? They're set up for Greenwich Mean Time. So they switch over at 100 hours when they should be switching over at 2 a.m. or something like that. Which I'm not sure what that should be like. That should be 800. 0800. So anyway, I'll take those down, and they should be, I think they're fixed now, so when they come up, they will be the right time. What can I say? We are on the air, should be streaming at oldtuberadio.net. There should be the link to the video, which I think is up. The audio should be okay. There shouldn't be a delay. There shouldn't be an echo. And, of course, what there will be are your tube radios coming up after the directed net roll call. The Vox is working. Charlie says my tie isn't straight. Is Chet out again? I think he got a job. I think he got a job at NBC. He is so good. You know, people have noticed he's so good on the cue cards here that they want him to do the nightly news or something. But he will return, and I will be better for it. Let's go to the early check-ins. We have a couple. I've got 61 stopped by from way out past, you know where, way out there in the north. Anybody else need an early check-in over?
24.
All right, 24. Let me get you on the list somewhere on the screen. You are there. Thanks for stopping by.
Dennis Kenny called me from Oklahoma. If he could, he wanted me to check him in.
Yeah, from Oklahoma, Kenny, in big Tulsa, listening in, looking good. And I'll put the 6-9 check-in. Hope all is well out that way. Thanks, Joe.
You.
Doing a little adjusting on the receive audio and things of that nature. Anyway, let's get going. I'm already late, so I will give us some extra time, but we need to check in the radios. SWL00. I think we have one more. This is the last week. I said it wrong last week, but this will be the last time, and then we will check for more 00 flavor. I see Mr. Cornbread on frequency. I've got the new headphones too. I got to make sure that I don't put my ear next to the microphone and I get feedback or something like that. The professional stuff. So Dan, Dapper Dan is there, SWL number 1, of course, and Mr. OBP, who is 9 pounds of good modulation somewhere around Chestnut and Herndon and perhaps everywhere. I see Kevin was on the, he's on the video, so go out there and say hello to Mr. OBP. Let him know he is looking good. And tell him and thank you for for figuring this thing out 40 years ago or so. SWL number 3. We've got a check-in for Rob, who I believe, was it the F8? No, was it the Clovis Amateur Radio Club should have had their Friday meeting, and I think the FARC is coming up this next Friday. I hope I didn't miss it, because Aaron52 is doing a chat. So if it was Friday, I missed it because I was busy, but I'm planning to go next time. Let's go to SWO4 and over to Levon, who I believe is out there probably hanging out at Old Radio Night, where we will check in. I was eavesdropping on them, and they were doing a good job, talking all sorts of skip. on the big skip shooting radios that Mr. JT has. Let's see, nobody there. Let's go SWL7.
SWL7, checking in.
SWL7 sounding good in, I guess, my neighborhood, which is sort of your neighborhood, kind of, too. We are doing good. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks.
Let's out to Sangertown. It's quiet, but I don't know. I never know how the conditions are going to be for Dirt Dog 982 SWL number 9. We'll do a standby for Dirt Dog. SWL 10, 10 and 30. Have I seen the Jumping Dolphins? I bet they will be there at some point. $11 and 12, of course. Dan checked in as 00. Dapper Dan, of course, way ahead of me today. I had to kind of throw everything together and run to the air chair just to be late. So I will concede to Dapper Dan on being a very distant number 2 in the Dapper department tonight. SWL 13, that will be Mr. Cobra, Mikey, who checked in moments ago. I think I'll have to refresh my screen and see who is there and who is not there. A lot of items on the chat list. I will go through that and make sure everybody's there. There's Mike is there just moments ago. I knew you'd be there. I just have to refresh my page so it didn't show last week. And I believe the link is now correct if you're linking to the video up there at oldtuberadio.net. Sangertown, SWL 14. All right, we'll get a proxy for the Sanger gang. They might be in just a little bit later. What is going on in Tomorrowland? In the land of Copenhagen. I see Hans is there. Hello to you, and thanks for jumping in. He says, tubes, baby, tubes. We're going to do that. We've got, Tony. I'm checking the Echolink. Tony is ready to tell us if he's going to be activating, and that's true. Kurt from Kokomo 96 is in on the Echolink. I think that should work out well. So thanks, Hans, as always, for joining us. Good morning to you out there. SWL 16 is checking in and looking forward to the net, as am I. See if we get any radios. It's been kind of a slow weekend. The weather hasn't been too bad. The frequency has been quiet, so hopefully we can drum up a few radios here before we sign off the air tonight. SWL 17. I also got to mark the analog list as well, so I don't forget who is here and who is not here. SWL 18. Mikey's got to check in from Facebook.
Right go, TR.
Chet sent a note that said make sure he gets checked in. He sent it on a little 8x5. I don't have it. Where did somebody have it? A little 8x5, like it was a cue card checking in that way. So Chet's got the X in the square, and good luck. If you get a job at NBC, you can't leave. You got to at least give your 2 weeks notice. Let's go to who was the breaking station? Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Dan. That's 53 checking in early there. Break.
Yeah, 53. No problem. I will put the proverbial check box or X in the check box, so you are checked in, Mr. Belair. Over.
Sir, bye-bye.
Make some adjustments here. Boy, it's really quiet. I may be able to open my RF gain up a little bit. Everybody's breaking through with no problem. Speaking of early check-ins, let me get 147. He's popped in there, and that way I can make sure that he gets acknowledged and it doesn't go scrolling off the screen that I have to find it. Kakalaki is on the scene, of course. Spring weather in the 70s. Wow, you guys are beating us here in California. We will not get 70s probably until next week sometime. I mean, then rain is coming back. Conditions generally good, but trouble making contacts with low power. And low power is relative. When you when you're speaking of 11 meters, Frank was telling me 007 was interviewing somebody that is running well over the 5-watt limit. In fact, just without spilling the beans, he needs I kid you not, he needs two 400-amp services to his residence in Florida to run his transmitter. So figure that one out. So low power is relative. These days, low power can be 3,000 watts. But anyway, sounds like you're having fun, and that's what we need to do. So thanks for checking in. Dr. Jazz in Kakalaki, looking good, 147. SWL, let's see, we checked in 18, we checked in 19. Let's go to the west side and see if Mr. Harvey's around, SWL 20. He might be on the phone, because I know he is there. He is listening. He's at the radio room tonight. So I will put the check-in for Mr. Harvey. What I will do now, I will try and find what's going on with Old Radio Night. I think we can do audio and video. Let me bring up the audio over there at Old Radio Night. Oh, he's on Channel 10. He's just right next to us. I'll see if I can get some video from Old Radio 9. Yeah, he's listening in. We're going to get checked. We're going to get some check-ins from Old Radio Night. Here we go. We're going to stand by.
I like the drift. Hey, Tim, folks.
What's going on with Old Radio Night? I think we can do audio and video. Let me bring up the audio over there.
Right before you said something about floating, I heard a voice, but my damn ear wasn't moving.
Waiting for Old Radio Night.
Hey,
There he is.
hey, Jaws. Y'all check in to Old Tube Radio Network, SWL 21, South Carolina. Come on.
I was listening
And that's a live picture if you're watching the video.
just that far out.
Hey, 614, check in to Old Tube Radio Network, Deborah.
Is that on YouTube or am I checking in right now?
Checking in right now.
And it's on YouTube.
14, checking in.
Looking good on Channel 10. Thank you. Who else from Kakalaki checking in tonight? Yeah, it's a live feed. It's live at Old Radio Night. It's live at the Old Tube Radio Network.
Check in real quick.
Here's another check-in.
Come back.
Check in. Say your name. You're checking into California. Come on.
We had Jones out here in that give hand, South Carolina, right down there at the river there.
All right, South Carolina sounding
Hey,
good.
Roger, all right. Hey, thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you. Got you.
I'm in there. 21. I'm back out.
All right, got you 21.
Yeah.
The Cobra's looking good.
Well, I'm glad they can hear this little 11-watt.
And we can hear
19 Galaxy.
We can hear the 11-watt radios. That is what's going on over at Old Radio Night. It's going on now, so jump over there if you can for SC21, who is also live on YouTube, the Old Tube Radio Network.
I'm late.
You're late. Who is it that was late for a very important date? Let's go to... Let me get the right photo up here, and we will go back to SWL20. We were just chatting with the gang over in the Wasama Swamps. JT was live on the air, so hello, Harvey.
Oh, yeah. When you called my number, I keyed the mic, and absolutely nothing happened. So I look around, and I figured out very quickly I didn't have the microphone plugged in.
Wow. All right. Well, that's a heck of a note. Well, at least you figured it out. It took me all day to get everything set up, and then I still couldn't get the internet wackiness, and I finally got that set up, and that's why I'm late. So you are less late than us. So we got you checked in. You are sounding good. We will probably get a radio or two and some pertinent information coming up in a little bit.
Roger, 29 and 54. Do not forget, check them in.
All right, I will not forget 29 and 54 and a host of others. Thanks for stopping by, and you're sounding good. Speaking of sounding good, let me jump up while 226 is in. and make sure that I can get Shockwave and get Jeff up and running, because he may have to skedaddle down the hill or up the hill or whatever hill he is on. Jeff, we got you. 226. Thanks for joining us. Also want to say hello to, I'll get everybody. I know a lot of people listening in, waiting for some radios, and possibly were they to be able to have some skip conditions, would be checking in radios themselves if we could hear everybody. If I didn't say so, my name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers who sit in the air chair of the old tube radio network. And trying not to break stuff, which is always, it's always easy to break things. It's not easy to get them fixed. SWL22. It can be hard to hear Tyler. It's super quiet out there. The traveling circus and Espresso Trucking Company and what's going on at the beach today. SWL23, 23 Skidoo. Hello to Standing Stones 1776. Let me do a quick scroll up the page here. Foxman UDX 457 and Foxman 362 also in. Mudbucket 483 United Delta X-ray. Conditions tough in South Carolina today. Well, we heard them pretty good at 21 checking in, so maybe that's the way to do it. Is get on at old radio night and wait for the link up. UDX 133 out there in the central coast of California, where it's always nice. Or I should say it's always nicer. It may not be nice, but it'll always be nicer than Central California. And Cornbread said he's texting from a wet and raining Bourbon Street Mardi Gras. Is that still going? I thought that was over. Wasn't it already Fat Tuesday? I had some pictures. My brother was down there. It's like, the street was like a giant trash can, and then they come and they just clean things up. Looked like everything was going good, okay. For the real Mardi Gras. We have our own little version here in Fresno, down in the Tower District. Rusty Reels, I see your CQ from Central Arkansas checking in. And greetings to all the old tube radio fans. Thank you, Rusty. Hello to Mark Sandquist. Mr. OBP was checking in. Just going through the list here. I gotta see if I have any. Hey, there's Albert and Peter and the gang. And 785 Larry, you wouldn't believe what I had to do to get this fixed. I had to go through everything and match all the numbers, and there were hidden things that I didn't know about. 007 Extreme CB, the six-wheel mobile, as he drives north back to New Jersey, next rest stop south of the border. So the big mobile is out and running. I don't know if Mr. Voodoo, who is now, he's got like the ultimate radio from Michael down there in the Kilkasoo swamps, and I have yet to talk to it for more than about 3 minutes and check it out. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what our link, our federal connection is, but if they have to review our employment application here at the old Tube Radio Network, I don't think we have it. We don't take any government funds. So I think we are safe here at OTR. Hello to Dr. Sammy. Thanks for checking us out here at the old Tube Radio Network. Kurt will be checking in with you. I see you up on the Echo link. Who else is out there? Oh, there's 31. Okay, let me get Robert and Teresa. They were in a little bit earlier out there from Hendersonville, Tennessee. They are coming, but I will check them in now. Matambale, nearly paid the ransom. Well, I had to pay enough to get the station back on the air here, but it did work. Tony, I see. We'll check in with you on the Echo link. And the Tube Radio Night, there's a couple of new ones coming up. I don't have them in front of me. Here's one, Channel 18 3 to 7:25. Okay, 3 to 7:25. So that's 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out of Eastern Tennessee, and it is the 8th. So that's Friday nights from Eastern Standard Time, 8 to 9 p.m. for a tube radio night. Out where's that at? Oh, Eastern Tennessee is right there in front of me. So Eastern Tennessee. I don't know if it's streamed or not, but just if you're around, turn it on, and on Channel 18, maybe there'll be some good conditions. Okay, I think that gets everybody. Craig, I see you in 64, and we'll get everybody checked in.
Hey, Dennis.
Back to the roll call. Hey, hello radio. Hello 70.
Hey, are you able to local FM simplex frequency?
I am listening. Yeah, I'm listening, but whether my antenna that's in the yet untrimmed camphor tree can hear you or not at...
Check.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, it's hearing somebody.
It's working.
All right, there you heard somebody check in at 46.550 if you want to try it.
146.550?
Yeah, 146.550, just up from the 520.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see what happens. And thank you. I think that was 40 coming up. Okay, 30's checked in. 31 is checked in. Hello, 32.
Ooh, this 27?
So we got everybody checking in on the FM now. SWL 33, that's myself. I'll get checked in. I'll also get Jimmy checked in.
F123, K6 MTS.
Yeah, see, they're sounding good.
Hello? K6 USY.
And there's USY.
Hello, Aaron. How you doing?
There's 33. 35, Mr. Bill.
25.
Oh, 25. Hello, 25. 25 over.
Yeah, Dennis, I think you're skipping.
Anyway, we're just making sure this thing works. I finally got a FM antenna up. Anyhow, K6 MTS.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that, Jerry. Yeah, you know what? I skipped. I picked up the page and I went like 10 off. So I was at 23, 24, and then Jerry was waiting. He said he's talking to all these people. Let's try it again without the Vox on. SWL 25, over.
25, check it in. Anyway, Harvey for reminding me to have the microphone plugged in. And check in 74 as well. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, check in 74, 25. You guys are looking good. Thanks, despite my technical unprowess here. And thanks for putting me back on the right page. Over.
Roger. Missed you last Wednesday on the Wednesday night net. So hopefully we'll hear you next Wednesday. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Okay, yeah, you know what happened is we had some, normally bowling night is, I'll keep this at 25 words or less. Normally bowling night is on Thursday, but something changed and they had to do it on Wednesday night. So I had to skedaddle off to the bowling alley and I missed the Wednesday night net. So thanks for getting me checked in. All right, that is Jerry, way out there in Madeira Heights, or is it Madeira Flats? It's one of those places. Let's go to SWL 27. Uh-oh. All right. We may never get through the roll call tonight. SWL 27. Oh, wait a minute. I got to turn this back on.
Yeah, turn it back up. Am I there? I am there.
Yeah, okay.
27's checking in live via the FM crossband.
All right, see, I turned it down because I'm running Vox, which is not a smart thing to do, and then I realized here's a station that often in Studio G will fire up the FM radio and try to do the crossband link, and I'm not even connected. So thank you for being patient, and you're sounding good, by the way.
Roger. No, you didn't miss the FARC meeting. It's this next Friday, so I think Aaron's going to be doing a demonstration, making contacts on everything from DC to light.
Yeah, and I had a Friday thing going on, and I got late, and I thought, oh, no, I missed it. And then I realized, well, that's the first week. It's one of those weird ones. It's just like the 7th day, you know, so that's week number 1. So it'll be on the 14th at the facility there. No, it should be good. I think Aaron is out there. We'll talk to Aaron. He'll give us a little 25 words or more briefing, but it should be cool, especially for somebody that's looking to jump into some different aspects of hammy type radio and new radios and stuff like that. So Dwayne, you're sounding good. Thanks for stopping by.
Roger, number 27.
On the crossband, on the Vox. Ain't
AI6QL.
Ain't technology great.
A6QL, W6KEZ.
Okay, hold on.
What's going on?
All right. They can chat away. Let's go to SWL28. Oh, you know what? They're still keying the Vox. How's that possible? Okay, let's do this. So much for technology. Let's try SWL28. I'm not sure why that would happen. SWL29's got a proxy check-in. It all comes down to operator error is what happens. And SWL28, Gary, I missed over you. We don't have to be federal. They're going to fire me anyway tonight. Gary, 28's checking in, 73. Wait a minute. How did you guys get 73? We didn't even get close to that. I don't think we were in the 70s at all. I could be wrong about that, but just the good weather never made it down the street here to Fresno. Ready for banana? Oh, banana split, extra whipped cream, and a topping of OTR. Well, I've got the whipped cream and the ice. I don't have the bananas. Maybe I can grab some after the net. There's usually a couple hanging out in the green room. The green room bananas. All right. Thank you, Gary. We got you checked in, and it sounds good. So, like they say in the class, did you bring enough for everybody? If not, just have a big banana split. All right, 28 is checked in, and 29 is proxied in. And let's see, we started with SWL 30. Let's try 30 again. SWL 31, Robert and Teresa out there in Hendersonville are checked in.
Ah!
Uh-oh. Is it time to turn the crossband back on?
Just turn off your radio. Turn off the 2-meter for a minute.
I'm not transmitting there, am I?
No, but the audio is just as loud as your voice.
Oh, you know why? Because it's feeding. Hold on a second.
Just hit the power button and come back to it later.
All right. I think I know why. Because I'm doing this split feed. I got to figure out what that's coming into. Oh, okay. That's the aux feed. You know what? So I turned off the wrong thing. Apparently it's a pre-fader item of interest. All right, that fixed the item right there. So that's actually easier to do. So hold on a second. All right, it's always the simple fix.
Much better.
That's true. Well, see, I'm monitoring the one output, so anybody that's on the stream was okay. So over the air, it was probably dueling audio, right?
Oh yeah, it was. It was very confusing.
All right, well, that's why my Vox was keying. I should have known this. Like the Vox is keying because there's audio going over your transmitter. I will have to. You know why? The audio board is behind me. That's the first bad thing. It should be in front of me, but we will work things out. Thank you for that technical expertise, and now we're back on the air. And I'll turn it back on here in a little bit. Let's see, SWL 33, we've got 33 checked in. SWL 34, that's Jimmy and Captain Chaos and a whole gang of people out there near Chicago, keeping our Facebook sites up and running. SWL 35, I'm checking to see if Red Monkey Communications or someone like him has stopped by yet tonight. No, so we'll give Mr. Bill a proxy check-in. SWL 36. I heard Chris on earlier. I wonder if he's by the radio. SWL 37.
Give him a proxy, Dennis.
All right, I hear you. It sounds like the antenna's not connected. All right, I hear you. No problem. You're not the only one having technical difficulties, and I've got you checked in.
Okay. Well, at least you got me checked in.
I've got you checked in, and I can kind of hear you. All right. Back to what you were doing. SWL 37 is in. SWL 38. SWL 39. And is it safe to turn the volume back up?
I believe so. Well, hold on. Let me check.
No, it is not.
Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. And we have another crossband check-in from, I think, 73.
Oh, all right. I will be listening for that. So maybe I should turn the volume back up. Let me turn the volume back up.
Okay.
I think the volume is back up. I think that's the control.
GI6QEL W6KEG.
Okay, it's not safe to turn it back up.
Hey, the frequency is in use.
Anyway, Larry, I got you checked in on the AM side, over.
W6KEG.
Okay. All right. And John, I got you checked in on OTR, K6 VLF.
All right, we'll get 73 checked in as well, and let the guys know that they're to chat on their on the FM. Don't hold on for me. Use it as it's meant to be used. The Old Tube Radio Network. We will be getting to some radios, maybe before we turn the clocks. Let's see, spring forward, fall back. So until we turn the clocks at, I'm already an hour behind, and then we're going to lose another hour. Who's there? So, somebody was knocking on the door up there at the up in the balcony. I can't see. It's Craig. It's Craig all the way from the south part of the state, bringing his merry. You think I'm a mud duck? Here's a guy whose call letters have MUD right in them. Hello, Craig. Hope you're doing well. And thanks for joining us tonight in the Old Tube Radio Network. Road Dog 507, SWL 41, the Orange County React Hudson Valley of New York. Bidding everyone a good evening, and likewise back to you there, 507. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Trying to keep it together and figure out what frequency is supposed to be going. We got a proxy check-in for SWL 42. And likewise for 43, and I'm going to call for Ray 44, who may or may not be able to hear me, if indeed he's out there. Ray puts in a good signal on the sideband, but on AM, it's hard to make it around the hill. SWL 45, Paul and Kelly, I will get them checked in. I hope you guys are listening and doing okay. We missed you out here. Looking forward to getting you back on the air. SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47.
Good evening, sir, from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47.
SWL 47, thank you for joining us here tonight. And you sound like you are not having technical difficulties, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, for once in my life.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, sounding good. If you're back when we start doing the radios, which I hope will be more sooner than later, we've got a spot for you on the list, or maybe more. SWL 48. Also, hello to United Delta X-Ray 122 Catalyst joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. We're in Central California, streaming everywhere thanks to oldtuberadio.net and some other Universal Media Netweb trickery. SWL 49.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. The 49er here, along with Sweet Country Mama.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
Checking in and wishing all you fellas a super fine evening. Take care, take care.
Sounding good. I can hear Sweet Country Mama way out there. You've got to get a shotgun microphone like I've got. Then she can be way across the room, and we'll be able to hear her. Sounding good. Thanks for joining us here on a Saturday evening. And 49 is checked in and checked in. Over to SWL 50 and SWL 51. Did Sanker check in early? I'll get 305. I'll get Dave checked in because I do believe he was out there at some point. All right, now it looks. I'm going to turn the. I don't know where he might be, so I will turn the volume back up. So I don't see my squelch meter, S meter, moving around, and we'll say hello, SWL 52.
Yes, from behind the golden microphone and operating all the way up to 10 gigahertz, SWL 52.
All right, sounding good. Sorry about the confusion on the 2 meter, but someone set me straight on that, and hopefully I didn't mess up any conversations. And I'm really, really glad to know that I miscalculated my Fridays and did not miss the upcoming FARC event that I believe you might have something to do with. Over.
Yes, that is correct. I will be demonstrating and showing off the ICOM 905 next Friday at the Fresno Ham Club meeting, and we're going to talk about some bands that some people don't get on very often and will consider exotic. And I did manage to make it up to the mountain on Monday and made a 45-mile contact on 10 gigahertz to John's trash can. That's right. He had his 10 gig dish on top of his trash can out in his driveway in West Fresno, and we made contact on 10 gigs. So it's official. I'm all the way up into the stratosphere.
Wow. All right. We'll talk about what type of antenna you might have had for that. Sometimes you have to be do a little coordination, have your multi-focusing elemental or maybe dish-like device point to the right condition or in the right direction, and have some conditions as well, or no conditions. Good stuff. All right, and the IC 905 is a amateur ham style radio, but it's something very unusual because it includes frequencies way up there. So it's fairly new on the market. And will you have one actually there?
Yeah, it's actually sitting like 5 feet behind me.
All right, and that's coming up Friday at the Fresno Amateur Radio Club meeting that starts at 7 p.m. at the Daryl's Mini Storage Training Facility that used to be Channel 21 on Ashland Avenue before, just past the freeway off-ramp, I think.
Yep, that is correct, and the address and all the details are on w6to.com. We'll catch you later, Dennis.
All right, and you do not have to be a member of the Fresno Amateur Radio Club to attend. Aaron is a nice guy. He will answer all your questions, were there to be any, and you might just think, well, this is something I might want to get into. All right, good stuff. We'll look for you then, assuming, let's see, what is by Friday like? Assuming I don't have any wackiness, I'm going to be there. And thank you, 52, for checking in. SWL 53, Mr. Belair checked in moments ago. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 54, and let's go up the hill to SWL 55.
55 checking in.
55 checking in. You are sounding good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Dennis.
Let's head way down the hill and beyond underneath the big deodar, or how do you pronounce that? Cedar trees. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and Nanette. 56, just for kicks. And shame on you. You know, I thought my 2-meter radio was broken. I kept turning the sound down, and where's that sound come from? It's 2 meters coming through, and I turned my radio off, and it was still coming through.
Well, I should have known because it was keying my radio when I wasn't talking, and it was still feeding through. But it's kind of an elaborate thing I have to do between getting things on the internet and getting things on the radio and all of that. And the way it's set up, it's pre-fader. I'll have to fix that, but or maybe do dual monitoring. I don't know. It gets, when you start adding pictures to radio, it gets complicated. The reason we are here is to check in the tube radios: a radio, a microphone, coax, and antenna. That's the way it should be, and we'll be doing that soon. Anyway, sorry for the confusion, and I think we've got it figured out.
Well, I kind of thought I was in the twilight zone there for a little bit. Anyway, thanks, Dennis.
All right, I was in bliss here, thinking, oh, okay, I'm just making too much noise. I wasn't hearing what was happening. As we say in the business, the cacophony of radio, the cacophony of RF. Thank you, Phil, for checking in. SWL 57. That would be Mr. Brown Dog Audio out of Central Kentucky. SWL 58. Did I say hello to our listening stations at old2radio.net? Roseville, just jumping in. Beautiful Roseville, where the locomotives pass through. I think they still do that. Middleton, Ohio, Centerville, Virginia. Hello to York, Pennsylvania. Of course, stations from Fresno. Up near Tracy, California, Plymouth, Minnesota, Edmonton, Alberta. Some good conditions again last night on 40 meters, like 10 watts. Pegging the meters on the Prince George SDR up there. Sacramento, California, the unknown SWL. At least you know who you are. Let's go to SWL 59. Uncle Hairball is there, getting a checkity check. Jumping between probably Old Radio Night and the Old Tube Radio Network. Thank you, 59. Let's go to Joe, SWL 60.
Thank you there, Dennis. Talk on the evening time to all the gang out there. And thanks for taking my check in there for Kenny. He caught me there just before the net started and wanted to say hello and check in for sure. SWL 60, checking in.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we're always nice to see Kenny coming in on the list or somewhere. So we've got him. Kenny, if you're watching live, the replay, you heard it. You are officially checked in via the roundabout way, but you're there. So 60 in as well. Thanks. SWL 61, Dean checked in earlier when the band was clear. Over. So we got 60, 61, SWL 62. SWL 63. Shortwave listener 64 checked in early. Craig, I saw you right there at the beginning of the video feed, so we've got you checked in. Let's see if Eric's out there again. He stopped by last week, SWL 65. And Frank B. from Yellow Springs, Ohio. Thanks for jumping in and saying hello radio and getting checked in. Standing Stone 1776 needs some sleep. It's probably late where you are. It's just a little late here. Thanks for joining us. Go get some sleep. You can catch the replay to check the radios. Also checking in his number, caller radio. It's like the credit card. You know when there's like that number on the back that you have to give. Oh, what's that number? That's where he's got, like, it's on the back. His number. Nobody is supposed to know. Caller radio's SWL number. He only gives it out occasionally. Let's go to SWL 66. All right, I'm going to leave dangerously back with the Vox. SWL 67. I did see Bill in Canby. Let me jump to the radio, jump to the screen on the radio. And he's checking in. About an hour ago. Don't know if it snows up there or not, but thanks, Bill, for checking in. I'd say remotely, but it's not. You're not remoting in. You're sitting in the easy air chair checking in. Let's go to SWL 68. We got Kenny checked in from Tulsa. Marcus. Yeah, Cornbread's waiting for the Lost in Space to come on. Warning. Danger. There's a lot of danger around here. All right, now, if he's still there, we can go AM or FM. We'll see what he's got. SWL 70.
Hello, Dennis. I think I got... Thank you very much for doing that. Sounding good. And all is all secure and Prather. Over.
All right, good deal. Have you got the FM microphonium? Give it a quick blast. I think I can hear you.
Hello, Dennis. Hello, Dennis.
Yeah.
K6.
Okay, that's you. It's coming through. Now, I've got too much volume on the... I turned my volume up way too much. So, all right, it's working. Both of them are working, and you're really loud. You are really loud on the FM full quieting.
Thanks, Dennis. I think I got something crossed up, but anyhow, thank you, man.
No, you don't. What is happening is you were getting the feedback because your FM was being transmitted through my AM back to your AM, thinking it was your FM. Over.
Got it.
All right. We used to do that when I worked at a TV station. Anyways, I wanted to make a little plaque or a slide to put on the screen that says, "The problem is yours. Please adjust set." Rather than the typical, technical difficulties. We'll be right back. Yeah, that's the way it is there. The problem is yours. Adjust your radio. But unfortunately, this is the old Tube Radio Network where normally the problem is always here. SWL 71 Stan, I saw him on my radar checking in right at the beginning of the net. I do not know exactly what's happening on the ham bands today. I know there's a big contest last week, probably some QSO party. Hello to Grapevine, who just came in, Grapevine, Texas. Hello to you. Directing that roll call, we're going to look for some radios really soon. 71 is in, SWL 72. Shortwave listener 73, John was in. Were I to actually be able to hear him with the volume and the FM thing, but he was there. Or were I to have 10 gigahertz and a trash can, this point, but you got to be up on a hill. I'd have to stand way up high. We have to go to the top of the building, the top of the OTR complex, and beacon down to John. Yeah, I'll see him at the Friday meeting. SWL 74 with a proxy check-in. Let's go to SWL 75 for 356 BYU. SWL 76 out of Rhode Island. Might be on my other screen here. Or not. Smokey the Bear says, please explain ham and your radio. Well, my radio is right here, probably like a radio you might have on the 11-meter citizen band radio frequency, and we're intermixing, we're commingling with some of our listeners who are also on some ham on the amateur radio frequencies, specifically 2 meters. And we'll be jumping into some Echolink stuff as well. So if you're thinking about getting your ham radio license, that's part of the stuff that makes it up. So it's a little bit extra flavor when 11 meters gets to where you can't use it, right? You've also got some escape FM, sideband, whatever. But that's what's going on here. The old Tube Radio Network. The reason we're here is, of course, to talk about, distribute information, and let you all listen to the classic tube radios that were around for the evolution of Class D radio service. That's 27.085. That's your CB radio, 1958. All the sets were tubes, vacuum tubes. Till about 1978, like the old cars that had fins and chrome, we'll be talking to the older tube radios tonight. Our collectors are warming them up right now, so some vintage radio. Don't go away for that. SWL 76. SWL 77. Got a proxy for 77. Out in Wild Wildemar, SWL 78. See if we can get Richard on here at some point. Gord 666 was on 20 meters earlier, Sydney, Australia, coming in. If you're on the West Coast, probably, right, on 20 meters. Although, if there's going to be a band that's going to be open for 24 hours, it would be 20 meters. Also, right now, I think you're right. From the West Coast or anywhere, it's going to be the Pacific Islands, Australia. Let's go to SWL 79. And I will get Philip checked in. He was in earlier. SWL 80. And I see Steve Areno is lurking about here. Let's see if we can't. Let's see if I can't queue up. Oh, no, I do not want to do that. Uh-oh. we have another crazy thing going on here. Not exactly sure what is happening. It's keeping the jingle singers from showing up. I've probably got 1,000 things I have to delete off the other computer, so I'll work on that. The jingle singers can get the night off, perhaps, or be deleted. All right, SWL 80, and Steve says the limos are staying busy tonight. And I wonder if it has anything to do with delivering all those Girl Scout cookies. I got a few myself. All right, I think we got... No. Okay, this is crazy. All right, let's go on. Anyway, Steve, I bet it's... And I got a couple of boxes here. I paid for them. I did not take them out of the... abscond them from the limo. Got my favorite with the Caramel Delights, or whatever they're called. Good stuff. Let's go to SWL 81. SWL 82. And I think 82 is out of the air chair for, I know this last Friday, and then this next Friday as well. And he is probably going to be attending the Fresno Amateur Radio Club meet to see what Aaron has to say and show for the radios. So heads up there. We'll... Uh-oh. I have no idea what's going on here. Are you sure? No. One more thing. Well, maybe I did. I think that file went away. The old Tube Radio Network. So, yeah, 82. Ron will be out of the air chair for next Friday, but he will be back. That's a Dish Banks Friday night net on 36 lower. Let's go to SWL 83. SWL 84, we'll get 84, 86, 87, and 88 checked in. Of course, that's the Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Candy Girl, and the Snowy Owl. Let's go to SWL 89. See, Cornbread, I can only do two things at once, and there you're doing 5 of them and probably doing it quite well. SWL 89. We're going to get number 10 on the air chair. He'll be able to do this. SWL 90. Is Felix joining us tonight? SWL 91. He is right there with the old Radio Night shout out. Oh, wait, are you the winner? He's the winner tonight. That's the spinner wheel. JT has all sorts of great things. It's like going to old Radio Night and hitting the lottery, and it looks like Felix. So you are you're the last one left on the wheel, because when it picks you, you get eliminated, right? Everybody gets on there, and if it lands on you, you get eliminated until you are the last station standing. So congratulations, 91. I don't know if you've done it before, but a well-deserved wheel of fortune or misfortune, or whatever they call it at Old Radio Night, and you were checked in here tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. Mr. Roman, SWL 92. Let me put the 92 up in the queue and see if 92 is out there. SWL 93. Shortwave listener 95. SWL 96. That's Kurt at Kokomo. Kurt will pick you up on the Echo link here in about 1 minute. SWL 97. SWL 98, I got Tracy checked in from Facebook. Lots of good posts coming from Facebook. Good pictures, good information. SWL 99, Radio Randy. He pops in sometimes. I don't see him tonight. I don't think I've talked to him on 75 or 40 lately, so I'll get Randy checked in, but I have a feeling he will pop in tonight. Also, I just saw, and I'm trying to remember what number you are. Yeah, 75 is in 356 BYU. I see you in there. We will get you checked in 75. And that means I should be able to, were I to be able to, and not mess things up. Let's see if I've got the Echo link working. I may. Get Tony out of North Carolina, the Echo link.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. You're loud and clear tonight. Back to net control, KD4 BAO.
All right, SWL 100 it is. We will get you checked in. Tony is our purveyor of tubes on the air, the TOTA. He's ready to fire up and start the activation in about 5 to 10 minutes, if I can get to the right spot. And he will do that. Thanks, Tony. And also, let's check in with Kurt in Kokomo, SWL 96. That would be... See if I can get the audio from Kokomo, Indiana.
KV6GFD in the net. This is Whiskey 9, Kilo Echo Charlie, the 777, Central Indiana, checking in. SWL 96. Dennis, we are going to go QRT early tonight. I'm tired and I've got some things to do in the morning. So thank you for taking the net as always. Good to see everybody in the chat, and hopefully I'll catch you all next week as well. 7-3, keep it easy, and we'll talk to you again next week. KB6GFD in the net, W9 KEC, will be QRT.
All right, thank you for checking in. Sounding good, Kurt. Yeah, go get some rest. The West Coast, East Coast, Midwest time delay, plus we're going to lose an hour, I think, or some people are going to be losing an hour. So go do what you need to do. Thanks for joining us. Always some great audio on your Echolink 73. All right, Echolink looking and sounding good, and we're on our way to some tube radios. Let's go to SWL 102. I did see John out there in Arkansas beaconing in a little bit earlier, moments ago. Also, let me put the X in this. The dolphins are here. Someone got the anchovies out. Someone got the sardines, and they're feeding the dolphins tonight. Hello, Chrissy. I see you. And Dwayne checking in. So we've got the X's in the proverbial squares, as well as, let me make sure 102 gets the check-in above my head. There we go. Let's thank you, John. Over to SWL 103, and Joey checked in on oldtuberadio.net. I think a lot of stations are having to go, as we say in the business, 10-7 early tonight because of the time change. So if you need to do that, no problem. We've got you checked in. Thanks, Joey. Up to SWL 109, Crawdad.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
Sounding good, sir. I finally made it up that way. It's taken a little bit longer tonight, but we are there. You are sounding good, and as always, thanks for joining us on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
Thank you, Dennis, and as always, you're...
All right, good to know that. Good to know I'm being heard somewhere, but that's because you've got a good radio, you've got a good station up there and a great antenna. Thanks. Let's go to SWL 110. SWL 111. Robert checked in when I was having my little audio wackiness and managed to get that all straightened out, so that was nice. Let's go to shortwave listener 113. Checking in with Wayne, SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114. Hey, Wayne, sounding good as always. Thanks for joining us here on the AM side on a Saturday evening. Got you checked in.
Thank you for being the net controller, Dennis.
All right, one of the many, such that it is. I'm trying my best here not to break things, so we'll see what happens. Cornbread, I hope if you're on that frequency, you are on lower sideband. That's all I can say. Let's go to SWL 128. John checking in about 30 or 40 minutes ago, 128. I see you there. Nome, Alaska, hello to you. Is that 22? That's way up there. I'm not sure if there may be some SDRs up that way listening in, but hello to Nome, Alaska. Point the beams down to Central California on 11 meters. You can hear the band is pretty quiet. We would hear you guys if the band was open. And John 128, I've got you checked in out of Fairfax, Virginia. SWL 131 out of Clovis. Oh, there's Tyler. All right, Tyler is in. SWL 22. Yeah, there's so many numbers to remember. So many numbers to remember. The Alpha Kilo 295. We've got you checked in. Let me get the official number on the screen, and we will make it a Saturday evening thing. Thanks for jumping in. SWL 133. Shortwave listener 135.
SWL 135 checking in.
135, sounding good. It is still functional. It hasn't broken yet, so you're going to have to check it in. Over.
That's a good deal. I hope it will continue working.
Sounds good. I don't see or hear any indication that it might not. So we'll catch you in just a few.
Hey, Cliff?
Hey, Harvey?
It's you.
Somebody keyed on you. What'd you say?
Oh, somebody keyed on me? Okay. I was saying it sounds like you.
Like me? Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. It does sound a lot like you. Direct net roll call. Radios are coming up shortly. Let's go to SWL 137. Over to shortwave listener 145.
Evening, Dennis. 145. Tony Corsico checking in.
Hey, Tony, you sound good on AM tonight. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for the check-in. Yeah, I haven't fired this radio up in a while. Hoping it was getting out okay.
No, it sounds good. Sounds like it's on frequency, and the audio is good, nice and clear. And while we have a chance, let me see. Tony does his questions on Friday morning and is gracious enough to forward them to me for the Saturday evening. We'll give it a go here before we jump into the radios. Number one, which antenna has the most gain over a half-wave dipole on 10 meters? We'll call it 11 meters. They're about the same. So on 11 meters, 10 meters, which antenna has the most gain over a half-wave dipole? I guess it doesn't matter if it's horizontal or vertical, but half-wave dipole on 10 meters. Would it be a quarter-wave ground plane, a Wyndham, a long wire, or an 8 or a 9 foot whip, depending on which frequency you're at? So we're looking for the antenna that has the most gain over half-wave dipole.
Wyndham.
So we got a Wyndham, quarter-wave ground plane, long wire, and the 8 to 9 foot whip. So I would say the Wyndham sounds right, unless you've got a tuner. It doesn't say anything about a tuner. If you have a tuner, you could probably get a long wire going up with some funky lobes on it. And we're not talking, we don't have anything about polarity differences either. So the answer given, if I can find it, the answer given is the long wire. Maybe, but I'm thinking the Wyndham couldn't be far behind. So as typically usual, the more wire, the better. And if your long wire is shaped like a delta loop, for that frequency, it's probably even better. Let's go to question number 2. The military designations J36, I'm going to exclude myself because I already know the answer. I'll give you a clue, though. The military designations J36, J38, and J47 are all for identical Morse keys. True or false?
True.
Okay. Sitting on my desk, where you'd be able to see it, is a J38 key, right? It's right off the screen. And I know a J37 is the same, but I'm not sure about a J47. Is it identical for military designations? The question you answer, it says the J38 and J47 are straight keys, but the J36 is a semi-automatic bug. Did I read that wrong? It's a J36, 38, and 47. Based upon the Vibraplex. All right, so the answer is the J36 is the odd item out because it's not a straight key, not a tap, tap, tap kind of thing. And I've got one. I've used that J38 key for years. Charlie says, you've got a mic shadow. Sorry about that. As my key. I put it in the keying circuit of any radio I've got, and you can just tap the key down. It works great, and then you flip a switch if you want to use CW. Good stuff. All right. Thank you, Tony, for that. Neil has checked in. Bobby, are you listening, and are you being patient? SWL 188.
Good evening time, Dennis. 188 checking in.
All right. Bobby is... It takes us so long to get to Bobby, he's already got the dishes and the laundry done. Anyway, I've got you checked in. Over.
10-4, even time.
And it won't let me click on your number. Whatever. There we go. 187, 188. There it is. And then I click that, and it's gone there. I got to get to the radios. I've got to get out of this technical stuff. Things are breaking as we go. Thank you, Bobby. Let's go to Jim up in Corscoll, SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis.
All right, 195. Hey, Jim, you are sounding good. Let's see. Why do we're springing ahead. So go to bed early tonight. So you don't lose that hour. Thanks. All right, I'm going to go to bed early tonight, but not before 10:30 though. I gotta finish the net. I'm not quite dressed in my nighttime attire just yet. And 226. It's good. Jeff checked in early. So anybody else needing a check in before we do some tube radios? And Ron, I've never had. Ron saying he likes the Viperplex. I've seen them. Never had a bug or a Viper. I've always had the J38 straight key. And I know they have, like the January 1st, they have straight key night. But I bet I could get into the bug, although I don't do much CW. All right, I am going to say I will join you back in 2 minutes. I got to reconfigure a couple of things, and when we come back, we will, I promise, check in and talk about tube radio stuff. This is the old tube radio network, as a matter of fact. Back in a moment. Warm up the radios and let us know in the comments if you were operating a tube radio this week and what you did. We'll be back in just a moment. The old tube radio network. All right, let's give this a shot and see if I've broken anything.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you on
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Yes, indeed. Brought to you by none other than the old tired tube radio network. The real radios glowing in the dark are tube collectors, are awesome tube collectors who take the real estate to house these things and the time to make sure that they're working and the expense to make sure that they are able to fire up. Are going to be joining us here tonight. See what we've got. I've got the tube radio list ready to go, and I will give out a call for any and all old tube radio check-ins. Over.
135, 135, 135.
20.
All right.
See, that's Joe's number.
I've got 135, so step up in the air chair, Cliff. I will get you, and then we'll pick up number 20 after that. I'm just doing a little work on the other computers so we can get the Rolodex to function. I think it will, so stepping up to the air chair now. The green arrow, and if anybody remembers last week, it is the month of March, and Cliff often goes through his collection finding any radio that has a wee bit of green involved, and my guess is he might have done that tonight. Over to you.
Yeah, hopefully. As much green as is humanly possible. But no, I'm saving that for next week. Because next week I think will be the closest OTR net to St. Patty's Day, which will be the following Monday. So I'm going to reserve the ultra uber super duper green radio for then. But this one comes in a very close second. This one is from Japan, and it is made by Robin Company, I guess. Is the Robin T123B base mobile 23 channel citizens band transceiver. There are 11 tubes, but all 23 crystal controlled transmit and receive channels. Back to you.
It was the last, or is it first? No, it was the last full 23-channel radio that Robin put out. And I believe it was produced all the way up until 1976-77, when you were not allowed to sell or manufacture a 23-channel radio, and that the green radio turned into a yellow radio. But there it is, and it is from your collection, so it says, displaying the nice green Robin banner across the bottom. It looks like there's even little green, I don't know what you call them, inserts on the knobs. Over.
Yes, there are. Much like the T240 Delta's got the yellow inserts. It's the same sort of thing, except of matching green. The case is green. There's the green stripe on the bottom, and the receive light. Just to the left of the channel indicator are two lights. Now that I'm keyed up, it's in the TX or transmit position, and it's blue, right? But when I unkey, it's a nice bright green RX light. Let's see, the microphone, this is the original handheld microphone that comes with these things. I'm not sure who makes them, but the meatball in the middle has a robin birdie flying around in a circle around the word robin, and on the back all it says is T123B Japan. So again, I have no idea who manufactures these cute little mics, but they were issued, various versions of this were issued with lots of radios, like the Lafayette's and several others. Back to you.
Interesting. On all this time, and I have a close-up function. Again, we're looking at your radio, and you have the microphone displayed. Never really zoomed in or gotten close to the microphone. There is something there going on, and you said it's the robin, perhaps, but the meatball is actually in the microphone. It hasn't fallen out, and I am displaying that now. So, looks like some type of little flappy wing birdie there. And it's close enough that another thing I've noticed was the Robin T123 logo on the front near the microphone plug. Microphone jack says base/mobile. Who knew?
Well, I did for one. I've checked this radio in both the mobile and currently I'm in the base configuration. But at some point later on this year, I will check it in mobile just because it's lots of fun. Back to you.
It is lots of fun, and I do remember you checking. There are a few stations that have actually checked their radios in from mobile devices. You are certainly one of them. Also, your photo shows the RX light illuminated. So I'm assuming when it gets a little bit of light in there, it changes color a little bit, but it does look sort of bluish. It's hard to tell. And also, what else? You've got the external speaker, which looks yellow, and some other items of interest. But the Panasonic chassis, which is inside of that case, also was adorning many other radios at the time. But it seemed Robin seems to have gotten whatever functionality they had in that chassis. Like Robin must have paid the most to get all of the PAs and external speakers and fine tunings and all the lights out to the front. I wonder if they had to pay extra for that.
Oh yeah, because a lot of these do have the same chassis, but they're they'll have various levels. Like some only have one or two little functions or something like that to save money, I guess. And then I would guess this is like the deluxe model. It's like, hey, we can hook up all this stuff to that over there on the board. Yeah, the TX light above the RX light, when you key up the radio, glows blue. But yeah, the RX light is definitely super green. And I would like to very quickly change to a power microphone and get your opinion, and I would like to hear the difference myself because I've never done this.
All right, we'll do it. I've got the quad split 4 screen on. So you see if you've got a little more wiggle meter. Go ahead and change. Wiggle meter on the transmitter. Got the Orban audio meter, which was pretty, I think it was flat topping around minus 13. No, that's a bad word. It's ranging around minus 13. You're getting good reports from the listeners on the audio, so we'll see what the difference is. Back to you.
Okay, we will find out. This is a Turner Plus 3B, and it should have a little bit more audio gain to it, but I don't know how it really sounds tonally. That's why I want to hear the playback for myself. I've been told it is a bit louder. And frequency. Now, I'm just the teensiest bit high in frequency according to my freaky meter. It says 0852, 0853, the last digit's blinking, even when I'm not making noise. Okay, so what do you think about this particular mic? Back to you.
Back to me in the studio. All right, well, if you look at the little numbers, if you're watching the playback on the Orban loudness meter, you'll see you went down to minus 12, and it got 0 is like level above full, or level below full scale being 0. So you're definitely got more gain. You got more loudness by a little bit. Quality-wise, I don't know, any of the SWLs out there listening live or otherwise, I almost like the tonal quality of the first mic better, even though it's a bit subdued in the high frequencies. This one's got a big boost, or a bigger boost in the mid-range frequencies, which I think creates the loudness. The other one might be a little bit clearer. So, boy, it's a toss-up to me. I think the other ones. I think I like the other one a little bit better, even though the other one, the microphone B, is louder. So were it to be skipped land time, yeah, you probably have to keep microphone 2 in there.
Oh, yeah, well, that's good to know, and I can't wait to hear it. I don't believe I've ever checked it in with this microphone. I just want to see, as I've heard other people check these radios in with D104s, and I thought they just sound really, really good. I don't have a D104 wired up for this particular radio, and I thought I'd try. Oh, and you know what else I forgot? The range expand on both these mics is on. Range expand is currently on, and it was on with the hand mic as well. So I don't know if I dare flip that switch to see if it helps, but thanks for letting me do this, and we'll let the frequency rock. And Radio 2 for the Kean of the Green. Yar. Back to you.
Very good. So again, the microphone, the non-standard microphone was a +3?
Turner, yes.
Okay, someone had asked if that was a +3. Maybe they want to see or hear. Were they thinking about to put a +3 on their Robin or Panasonic chassis radio? That's what it would sound like. And I'm looking at the controls. You do not have, there is no tone control per se on this radio for the transmitter. Maybe on the receiver? No, not at that. Okay, just wanted to make sure there was no other adjustment besides, of course, the range expand, which were you to turn it off, I'm sure you'd lose a little bit of bass frequency and probably a lot of gain. So it's in the right position.
Oh yeah, and that would be cool to have a parametric equalizer on any of these radios, I think. But you did remind me of another thing most people forget to mention. On the squelch knob the squelch knob is a push me pull you knob, and this does not affect where you've set the squelch. But if you pull it out, it changes the tone. Now the tone is not adjustable. But when you pull it out, it allows you, at least, to sound bigger and bassier and boomier. It also very much changes the sound of the atmospheric noise from, high hissy to more, more gurgly. I like it out. If anybody who's got these things, pull that knob out and see if you don't like the tone a little better. It gives it a fuller, especially if you're using an external speaker, it makes a huge difference in your receive tone, but unfortunately not in the transmit tone. Thanks again for letting me check it in. See you next week.
All right, one quick question. I missed it. It's a on-off type of thing when you pull it out. There's no adjustment?
Yeah, that's the thing. It does not adjust. Even though the knob will turn, you'll still be just adjusting the squelch. It's a tone on, tone off kind of thing. And according to the manual, and it really does work this way, pulling it out allows wider receive frequencies.
Okay. Well, I am actually on this particular radio doing a wider transmit frequency, so you may actually hear some difference on me if you were listening on a speaker that would get some definition on that. Who asked a question? Boat Anchor CB Repair, did they make a Panasonic tube rig? I don't know if they made a Panasonic tube rig that said Panasonic on the front of the radio, but the insides of this radio that we're looking at here, is made by Panasonic. They were sort of like Uniden 10 years later, where they had about 5 or 6 different radios from 72 to 76 that had this same chassis, but it's like buying a car, were you to buy the Chevy version or the Pontiac version, the Oldsmobile version or the Buick version or the Cadillac version, you would get a few more little gewgaws on the front or lights on the front, but inside it was basically the same. And we've sort of determined that the Robin was able to take that Panasonic chassis and get everything that was available, the PA, the external speaker, the RF gain, the fine-tune control, and some other things as well. But they pretty much, if you work them right, might all sound the same. Of course, his tone controls on the receive side only. All right, thanks. Thanks, Cliff, for yet another green radio and for being patient, for getting to the radios here. It sounds good, a lot of good comments, and if you're listening to the replay, hello in the future. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'll have to see how green it sounds. Went back to the hand microphone for quick comparison. Thanks, and see ya.
All right, see, that's the thing. My ear was getting used to the other one now, so now I'm not sure which one I really like. Let me see. Harvey is next. I wanted to check to see if the Jingle Singer link was broken. So we're going to try that, and then Harvey, as soon as the Jingle Singers have completed their ditty, go ahead and jump up into the air share where they to actually be able to work here. There is some wackiness going on with our Jingle Singers tonight, so maybe not. One more try. We got take two. Okay. No, Harvey, you're gonna have to save me on this one. Over.
What do you want me to save you for?
Well, I use the Jingle Singers as a little transitional item between radios and, you know, to get people as a cheerleaders. They're like cheerleaders here for the Old Tube Radio Network. And tonight there's some technical boo-boo going on. So I will just say, go ahead and take it. We'll get your radio number 2.
Okay. Ooh, I gotta tune this. Hang on. Oh, that's right. No, I don't. This is the fun radio where it goes, ooh.
On the transmit or the receive?
Transmit. Okay, I'm going to key up one more time, and I won't say anything. Let me know if it does the oohing. I'm going to unkey, wait about 5-6 seconds, and then key back up.
All right, we're listening for the ooh, or whatever you said it was.
Did he do it?
It made a ping.
Well, I think if the transmitter's been sitting for a while, not being used, then he keys up a little high and slides down. Yeah, it's at 048 now. Started out at 054. So I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to leave it. I was done with this and going to sell it, but I think I might take a stab at the 6GH8 tube, which is supposed to be good. I'll put another good one in, see if it still does it. And then, if it's not that, could be 1 or 2 picofarad capacitors on the transmit oscillator, in the transmit oscillator circuit. That could be bad. And I'll replace them and see if I can get this thing steady. Anyway, R27S23, it's going to be for sale. It is. The person that was going to get it locally, I can't get a hold of. So, since I do have about 2 others that I have to work on, check out, etc., this one will be for sale with its oohing or maybe solid. Anyway, 240 for this one. No mic, unless somebody wants it with a mic, then it's a little more. Also, I'll take pictures of it and send it to the people. Alrighty, back to you. Oh, it's got a ping control too.
All right, now I know what you're talking about, the oohing. It is probably doing just that, but we, unlike last week, we don't have an offending carrier to 0 beat with the radio, and there's no skip going on, which would also do it. So I tend to think, and you might, you know, give me your opinion, that if you have an old tube radio, if you listen to Skipland, there's actually people that make devices to do that ooh for your transistor radio. There's a device that actually moves your frequency around when you key down, or is it key up, so that you make that sound especially during skip when you're zero beating with many stations, so they know when you key down, even if they can't hear you. Even if you're in the mud, it's like CW. You'll know that the station keyed up. So I would say that's sort of an endearing quality. And you might not want to try and fix that. Over.
There's the longer ping. It started out at 085.5. Now it's down to 085.0. 49. And 48. Generally stops at 4948. So I figure I'll leave it there. That was the long ping. It's got a switch in the back.
A little switch in the back. Now, the switch is in the transmitter?
No, it's in the receiver. The ping cap is in the receiver. So the switch is in the back left corner so that you can reach around and easily flip it up or down.
Interesting. And the picture I'm showing, I want people to think that's the actual radio that you're talking on for sale, because it's showing the business band reverse preamp, as JT would say with it, and that is, I don't know if you're using anything like that, but that's not part of the radio sale. These radios were populating the airwaves back from 1964 to probably early 1966 when Browning was devising the R68 T68, coming out with the Golden Eagle. And there are two versions of this, a Series 1 and a Series 2. Let's see, Series 2, larger meters, neon modulation indicator, and lighted on the air. So this is a Series 1 or a 2, you would say?
Well, this is a bigger meter than what's on the R2700 and the R2700A. Vertical meters, but this one's about twice as wide. I haven't seen another one of these with a different meter. So mine doesn't say what series it is on the back. I don't want to move it too much here. Still having a little problem with my right arm. It's got a serial number, but doesn't say series 1 or 2, anything like that on there. But it's got what I would call the standard meter on there. That's on most of these. Anyway, the one thing this has that's not stock, they put an eagle, glued it or stuck it on the front speaker. Now, it is very, very close to the actual eagles on the radio. It's not like some funky, doesn't even look close. This one looks pretty darn close, because I'm looking at it and the ones on my Golden Eagle radio. So, and then they did make a two different styles for the Mark III, Mark IV, so a smaller one, a larger one. Anyway, so this one doesn't look bad. I'm leaving it on. If anybody wants to take it off, they can take it off. Anyway, $240 for this puppy, and I've done all the electrolytic caps, the smaller ones, in both radios, but the canister caps, for some reason, are really good, and the transmitter one barely gets a little warm, and the receiver is even cooler than that. It's like room temperature. So they tested well as far as value and such, so I'm leaving them. If it sells local and somebody wants the caps done, I'll do it. But otherwise, it's going the way it is. But nice long key down. So you see how it kind of sounds. Unamplified D104. The audio gain in the transmitter is at 1/2. And there we go.
Sounds good. It's stable. Didn't do the 0 beat, but like I said, it might have a little movement when it keys up. But that's actually kind of, I think that's actually desirable on a tube radio like that. Sounds good. All 23 channels. This was their first all 22 channel radio. Let's say the original price was about $350. There is an operator's manual at oldtuberadio.com. It says Browning R27S23 on PDF. And just one more thing before we go back to you. It said the Series 2 had a neon modulation indicator and a lighted on-the-air indicator. So I don't know if that's something that you could detect there, but I thought they both had that. But I guess there's a little neon orange light somewhere.
That would be the spotlight. Now I don't know if it makes a noise while I'm keyed up. Let's see. Now, I don't know if it did something. I heard a noise. It's still keyed up. Okay, the modulation light is on the left below the transmitter's meter, and that works. Works really well. And I'm getting a side view of it, so I can see it and it works fine. The spotlight is yellow under the on-the-air light.
That matches the picture of the one we're showing. It's got an on-the-air light that's kind of overexposed, and then there's an orange or some type of light underneath it. All right, and when you were doing the function switch, we could hear it go clunk, 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 just a thump, as it were. No noise or crackling or crunching, so almost like a relay was thumping. All right, very good. Browning Golden Eagle R27S23. It's had a little bit of, what do we call it, TNP done to it, or maybe a little just some house cleaning, make sure everything looks okay and does okay, and it's on the air right now. It sounds certainly sounds good, and I'm assuming you're hearing me as well.
Roger, you sound real good. Okay, that'll be it for me, other than my last one in the next few minutes, and we'll catch you next week. I still have a, oh God, what is it? A Golden Eagle R68 T68 of Ed's for sale too. Anyway, I haven't been able to test it out. He originally got it from me, so I know it worked. When he got it, he had it on, it worked. But with my arm the way it is, I haven't been able to move things around much. This particular radio was on the bench before my arm went out. So I've been working on it left-handed very slowly. So anyway, I'm going to start back using my right hand for soldering, etc. Starting next week. So I'll be able to get some stuff done. Okay, catch you all later. We'll be out. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, thank you, Harvey. Take care. I know these things last time it happened, take a long time to get fully healed, and you don't want to do anything that would unexpedite the healing process. So good luck on that. And thanks for bringing it by. Sounds good. Doesn't skip a beat. The Old Tube Radio Network. Some technical difficulties with the jingle singers. Not uncommon for the technical difficulties tonight, but as you can hear, the radios are checking in. That's the main reason we are here. So go, Harvey, go, as they're saying. Anybody else for a tube radio check-in before we jump out tonight? I know a lot of stations are in areas where there is the time change coming up early in the morning, and so you're going to lose an hour. So we don't want to go too long, but we do want to get all the radios checked in that we can. Oh, and I want to say hello to Greg. Wiki Whack out there near Big Mountain is in the house. He's a fan of Browning radios. He's a fan of good radios, solid audio, and great antennas. And a combination to get you on the air to do what you need to do. Hello, Greg. Thanks for joining us.
60.
And joining us now with a possible Radio 3 is Joe. Hi, Joe.
Hello, Dennis. Doggone it. Yeah, I really did appreciate listening to Cliff's Bravo, his 123 Bravo, the Robin. I enjoyed listening to it just to hear how it sounded and what he talked on as far as microphones go. I'd like to check in my 123 T, the Robin T123B. Get this one out of the way there. I know you talked quite a bit about it, and we did want to get this one checked in.
Get it checked in. I've got a great picture. It's a little different than what I had before. This shows the box it came in, which I have a feeling that were you to order one, you would not get one with a nicer box. You might get a nice radio, but there it is, a little different color than the green. This one is not turned on, but it still has the... And I'll ask you if you have... I've probably asked you this before, but don't remember the answer. There is, I call it a mobile bracket. That were you not running mobile and probably have it across the top, you might have it across the bottom as a little stand to tilt the front of the radio up. Do you have the mobile bracket with that one?
No, I'm sorry, I don't. And I know it is mobile, and it would be really nice if it did have the bracket. I may be able to order that one day to kind of look it up and see if I can get a bracket for it. But no, it doesn't have it. This one here, like Cliff said, 11 tubes, all 23 channels, and plus, this one has a few extras, about 9 probably. And with a little help from some switches there, you can kind of get a few extra channels in there.
This was, early 70s, so they were starting to figure out how to work the synthesized crystals and do the trickery that promoted the demise of the radio, or all 23-channel radios, as people started adding the extra frequencies, or adding the ability to get to the extra frequencies, which kind of upset the FCC, so they said, okay, if you're going to do it wrong or your way, no, you're going to do it our way, and we're going to channelize it, and we're going to give them the numbers, and then we're going to require you to get a radio that uses crystal controlled, or in this case some type of frequency controlled, so that you're on this specific channel, this frequency that's the channel, no sliding in and sliding out. So a good piece of history there, when a lot of us remember having our 23-channel radios that didn't have the special switch or the sliders, and someone would say, we're going to that other channel, and we'd be kind of left in the dust. But here on the Old Tube Radio Network, it's channel 11 all the time, and yours is working well on channel 11.
Well, thank you much, Aaron. I know Cliff talked about the microphone. It is a little bitty microphone, and it does have that little robin on the faceplate there on the microphone, and it's kind of a poor drawing of a robin. I would say it looks more like a swallow. It does say Japan in the back, and it is the original microphone. Now, like I say, this is a small microphone. Looking at it and handling it wouldn't tell you, would show you how small it is. I appreciate you, Dennis. Let me check this one in.
And I appreciate you bringing it by. That is why the Old Tube Radio Network has been jumping on this channel since the late 1980s on a Saturday evening to promote the use, distribute information, just get people on the air. I know there are some of you listening that do likewise. Doesn't have to be older style radios, but just getting on the air here in 2025 seems like it's tough to do, to actually get somebody to talk to. So we have a great local contingent of collectors and listeners, And we like to say hello and meet with them on a weekly basis. And we're glad that those can join us at oldtuberadio.net, oldtuberadio.com, and have a good time, as we all should do on the radio. Thanks, Joe. I'm going to do some counting and mounting here. There's still plenty of room to get checked in or say hello radio or get on the radio list before we jump out tonight. And I can search out all these little gremlins that are running around the shack here tonight.
60.
Hey, Joe, you have found the other end of yet another coax, which is a good thing here on a Saturday evening. Over.
Yeah, doggone it, it took a minute or so there for sure. That we kind of dropped them in. And, amongst all these wires there, I really had to look at it to see if it was the correct coax. Dennis, this is my, from Radio Lab, my Hustler base with the original Blue mic.
The original Blue mic. Okay, so the audio is a little weak, so you want to get close up to the Blue microphone. I have... Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, there it is. There's the picture of the Blue radio and the Blue microphone. So we know what you're looking at and what you're doing. 23 channels on the receive. You can tune it with the dial on the right. And then you've got the obligatory crystal controlled on the left. What number does OTR show up on?
Well, if I've put a light on this one, the dark a little bit on number 3. OTR shows up, channel 11.
All right, we'll have to talk to Harvey. Maybe we can find a whole set of crystals, 27085 crystals, and we'll secretly plug them in there sometime when you're not looking, and that way, no matter where you go on a Saturday evening, it's always going to be channel 11.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean there, because most of the time we are running these radios in the dark, depending on their lights that they are putting out, and of course our eyesight is just that good anymore. Doggone it, this one here, 7.2, with the original mic, and like I say, I don't know what type of element it has. I've never investigated, don't want to investigate it. I don't want to break anything if it's not broke, or have to fix anything that's not broke. But other than that, this one does have the hardware. This one is ready to go. If you would like to, say for instance, put this one under the dash and maybe a good metal 1959 Ford dash with a lot of leg room.
Yeah, or just as we want to do, just ask the passenger to sit in the back and strap the radio to make it safe. World Radio Lab, some people know the name associated with the Globe Scout, Globe King, the amateur radios that weighed 100 pounds and did a couple of 100 watts, and then the WRL of the Hustler. Actually, Globe made quite a few CB radios as well, the 5-watt DC input, and this was sort of a cross between the two. Pretty rare. You're not going to see or hear too many of these around. Of course, if you drop by on a Saturday evening, the Old Tube Radio Network, Old Faithful, Old Blue will probably key up. Back to you, Joe, and thanks for bringing by radio number 4.
Thank you, Dennis. Doggone it, most definitely. Most definitely the old rascal will key up there for sure. If not, we got the doctor's number there. Okay, Dennis, doggone it, thank you a whole bunch there, and we'll let the old channel rock.
One more time.
It's sort of like being in Las Vegas and going to a Wayne Newton concert. One more time.
Okay, the Golden Beagle R68T68 by Browning Laboratories. There are many others like it, but this one is mine.
And it's been yours for quite a while. What, at least a couple weeks?
Well, since the mid-'80s.
Pretty much when we started checking in the radios.
Pretty much. Garage sale find. So, there you go. Not eBay, garage sale.
Well, yeah, that was pre-eBay, and sometimes I'm beginning to think that was, at least for a while, that was a better way to find things. The early eBay wasn't bad, and, you know, another way is some of the ham radio flea markets where you can do, find things for reasonable prices that may or may not have been taken care of properly. With eBay, sometimes you never know, and a lot of times you're paying more than you should these days anyway. But garage sale is a good thing. Over.
Oh yeah, this was an amazing find. He just said CB radio. I walk in the garage. I said, saw your ad about CB radio, among your other things. And he said, up there on the shelf. I look up there, and there's this Golden Eagle with this microphone, with the BL on the back of the head of the microphone, and a 180 matching reverse preamp. And I go, okay, how much? Here's the money.
He's probably glad to get rid of it. It's like, yeah, it worked in the day, and now it's just this big, boxy radio. And, you know, the stuff coming out now is about a third of the size. But, you know, it's like an old car. You know, sometimes it's served its purpose. You've got good stories to tell, and it's time to pass it on. And that's what I like about OTR, able to get these radios back on, and people that may have had them say, oh, yeah, I remember that, or I wish I had that, or that's like me. I was like, that's the one I wanted when I was in high school and had $1.50 to my name. So here they are once again. So thanks, Harvey. The Golden Eagle, the first one to, the first R68 T68 to be called the Golden Eagle, and that had the, I don't know what you call it, little badge, applique, instead of the silhouette. This had the 3D eagle right on the radio.
Oh yeah. Actually, eBay was going on at the time, but I didn't know anything about it. I bought this whole setup, checked it out, had to do a little bit of work, but the reverse preamp had a broken tube in it. And the only place I could think of to find one was Antique Electronic Supply, whatever, that place in Arizona, and they wanted what I thought was, at the time, too much. So I happened to mention it to my wife, and here we go. She says, well, have you checked eBay? And I go, what's eBay? And then she showed me. And that's where, I got in super trouble. Anyway, so I found a couple of tubes, bought them, and the rest is history.
Yeah, just like they say, the hits just keep on coming. So good stuff. Thank you, Harvey. I will let you go. I know you have to get out of here. I'm going to jump some numbers up. We'll say goodnight to our listeners wherever they might be, and tomorrow's another day. I don't know what the sunspot numbers are like, but the bands were hopping today, so maybe it'd be time to get on the radio and do some talking. The old Tube Radio Network counting and mounting, but we still have room for your Tube Radio. Thanks for, that would be radio number 5, Harvey, your Browning Golden Beagle.
Dennis, could we make this number 6?
Yeah, I'm just finishing up the numbers on 5 here, so take a transmission.
Thank you much here, doggone it. I know it's running late there, and but we did have this one already warming up, pre-warmed up pretty good too, in fact. Dennis, I'd like to check in from Mike Johnson Messenger, the 223.
Not a problem. I got a late start because I was chasing down that funky audio issue, which I managed to figure out, and I think it's working okay. So what we'll do is replace the Browning that I have on the screen now with a 223. The R68, T68 was, you know, when they stopped making those, they started, E.F. Johnson started making these radios. So at a $400 price for the Mark IIs, or whatever they were, probably in the $400 range, in 1968, you could walk to the other aisle on the electronics store, and for half the price, this is the radio you would pick up. Take a transmission.
Oh boy, I'll tell you what, that'd have been the radio that I have now for sure. I would have made that move. I wish I'd have made this years ago. Like I know I've talked about it many times there in the earlier days. I wish I would have made a move towards these tube radios. But you know, we thought nothing about anything but solid state and power. But anyway, thanks a whole bunch there for letting me check in the 223. It has 10 tubes and all 23 channels and always ready to go.
Yeah, I don't know if we were duped. We were kind of brainwashed into that solid state. It's like color TV, you know, and everything was now in color. And then in the mid to late 60s, every piece of gear had to have that solid state right across the front of it. And so that was the thing. That was the buzzword, solid state. And that got me too. I was about ready to pull the trigger. I think it was a Fanfare, the XM2300. And I went for the solid state Radio Shack Navajo that had just come out, the early one. And it certainly was a fun radio and a good radio, but if I had the two side by side, I guarantee the receive and the audio and everything would have been much better on that Fanon. Although I did have a lot of fun with that Radio Shack radio, and I have a lot of fun now with the tube radios. So it all comes back. Thanks for radio number 6, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223. A version of this radio was made and sold by Sears Roebuck. They sold a lot of these messengers as a base station to be a companion to their mobile radios at the time, which were with the 323 and the 123, which were solid state as well. And what was the microphone you were using on the Johnson again?
This one, Dennis, is the original microphone. Same color as the radio, and it's a nice little setup. Nothing fancy. Doggone it, you look at it, you know you're looking at a CD, but the original, like Turner Plus looking, it kind of resembles like a Turner Plus 2, but in a brown color, beige color, maybe.
You know, if you like silver, silver and black, you're in on this one. Good starter radio. If anybody's looking to start a collection, there are a lot of these sold. They're in good shape typically, maybe off frequency a little bit. Was it Radio Ham guy Larry said when he worked at E.F. Johnson in the 1980s, their biggest problem was just some of the crystals drifting, but they're certainly close enough on frequency to be good. And we are showing the Johnson desk microphone made by, I guess made by Shure. Desk mic, but they were able to put the Johnson Viking head logo in the middle. They call it the meatball, I guess, and then instead of Turner across the push-to-talk bar, it said Johnson. Pretty cool. And that was about a $20, $25 option you could buy with the radio or not. 73 Joe, thanks for your assistance tonight and getting some items on the list.
Thank you, Dennis. Doggone it, we got a chance here to bid you a good night. To you and to all the gang out there for sure.
Exactly, and who was that? A Turner without the lock. Mark, you know, I'm going to zoom in. I never noticed that, or did I? If I did, I forgot. There it is. It doesn't have, for those of us who grew up with the blue +2 desk mic and used that little slide lever to pull the thing, you know, instead of push the talk bar. There it is. You are right. There is no slide lock to talk. Maybe that is, I don't know what the number is for the desk mic, like a 350. So that's probably, I'm going to say it matches their desk mic of that style. So was that lock to talk a +2 thing by Turner? I'm not sure. All right.
I had the Turner one time, and that's exactly what it had. This doesn't have that. It doesn't have a little bar to hold it in position, like the Turner +2. But the resemblance is about the same, and also the little pin on the head
is the same.
Yeah, I'll have to check that, see if they've got a matching standard microphone, if it had their lock to talk bar. Maybe that was the gimme. It says, yeah, we'll do that for you, just, we're not going to put the we're not going to put the little thing on there. Thanks, Joe. Counting and mounting we are, the Old Tube Radio Network. Now, I'd say it was pretty quiet tonight, not like last week. So sometimes that's how it is. No skip, no muss, no fuss. Back here in the studio, let me clear the rigs. Go to the control camera. And we'll have to see what's going on with the jingle singers tonight, but they will be back. Oh wait, maybe we can do the alternate ones. Let's see if they're around tonight. We'll give it a shot. Anyway, Charlie, cue the alternate jingle singers. No, they're not going to go either. All right, no problem. The Old Tube Radio Network, tonight we had 17 check-ins on page 1, 15 on page 2, 13 on page 3, and 19 on page 4, and that makes a total of, he said, hoping his math was correct, of about 63. Most heard manufactured tonight, I believe it was a tie between the Robins and the Brownings. Started off with the Robin T123B in honor of being green for the month of March. Thanks, Cliff, for that. The Browning Eagle R27S23 from Harvey did a little inside and outside dusting and polishing and sounded pretty good. That one is for sale. I think he said it was sold locally, but the person is not. It's hard to get a hold of, not picking up, so it sounds like it may be possibly available. He has some other ones as well. But it sounded good. Listen to the replay. Hello, Timmy. Says thank you for the, from Greene County Bluegrass. Yeah, we're here in Central California. We do this on Saturday evenings. Been doing it since the prior century, as a matter of fact. Hopefully there's a get on the air night where you're at. It doesn't have to be old radios. It's fun to pick a channel and do it. Browning Eagle R27S23 from Harvey, Radio 2. The Robin T123B Radio number 2 from Joe. World Radio Lab Hustler. If you're green, you might as well be blue. Thanks, Joe. That is a fan favorite from World Radio Labs. The Browning Golden Eagle R68T68. The Mark None. The radio that went between the Mark II and the Eagle, the R27S23, we had two of those tonight. That's the radio in between for about a year and a half. And then the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, that had a good run of about 3 or 4 years before Johnson went all solid state. A good performer and still sounding good. So 73, everybody. I'm going to work out the bugs here, continue with that on the technical side here, and we'll look for you next week. Maybe find out on Friday evenings at the Ham Club on how to get on the really high frequencies, how to modulate the dishes, the trash can lids, and all of that with the ICOM 905. Have a great weekend, a good tomorrow, and if you're in one of those states like we are here in California, it is clock forward time, so we're losing an hour. So have your hot chocolate and get to bed. Talk to you later.
Thanks, Dennis, and good night.
All right, thanks, Joe. Always enjoy the radios. lot of delete files tonight. Quiet. Can't believe how quiet it is. You know why? Because tonight I was running without the extra preamp, and I was running the negative preamp, and it pretty much... Here you go. That's with the RF gain all the way open. Where's the S meter? I mean, it's not even showing up. But that's easy on the ears if you're listening. Here's the 10 dB preamp. That's tough to listen to all night.